Do Jesus. Here we go. All right, y'all. Let's get into this mess. So the moment that we all been dreading, well, I'm gonna try to be as demure and mindful as possible. I can't promise you that I will be, but Lizzo out here saying stuff that got her sound like Boo Boo the damn fool. So let's get into it. So Lizzo recently popped up on Sibling Rivalry. I actually got around to watching the episode yesterday after everybody was talking about it because I was like, let me actually watch the episode so that way I can get better context and see where she was coming from. She did make valid points in regards of like pointing out overall racism in music, being that genres of music was created by Black people, particularly rock and roll, house or dance music. House music, dance music, same shit, different toilet. So, rock, country, house music, a lot of all of that definitely stems from us. I mean, if you didn't know, I think Beyonce pretty much gave everybody a little bit of edutainment when she did Renaissance and pointing out house music, and most recently Cowboy Carter, which of course got the clear folks, tits in a damn twist and, in an uproar, a snowflake uproar. But nevertheless, Beyonce just giving you what she wants you to know, your history, which has been taken, whitewashed, whereas people think that, all of a sudden white people invented everything. You didn't, but especially when it comes to music, it was what it was. And so I was with Lizzo on that part. But when she said what she said about Janet being the first diva ever, and how Britney is basically a Janet impersonator, I'm like, man, what you not going to do with your still big back? I don't care how much weight you lost, you still got a big back, bitch. I'm not going to sit up in here and let you just keep disrespecting Britney, and y'all not just going to come up in here and call her an impersonator of Janet Jackson. So, I do have the clip. I was thinking I wanted to play it, but I don't know if I want to. I don't think I don't think we'll get in trouble if we play the clip. Bob, I did interview you. Please go easy on me. Don't come after me for playing this clip. But we need a little context because I want people to hear exactly what Lizzo had to say, because she had to clarify. Because this is not the first time that she actually said what she said about Madonna and Janet and that whole discourse. We'll get into it because I got those tweets too. She said this back, I'm thinking like a couple of years ago, actually. What year are we in? 2025? I think she said in like 2021 or 2022, she had made some type of tweet where she was talking about Prince and Usher as the king of R&B and all this other stuff. We'll get into that because I don't remember off the top of my head, but I do have the tweets. But let's get to the clip. Clip. In the words of Dorinda. Wait, why am I opening that? That's not what I wanted. I wanted the actual clip. From why it's like all of a sudden now I have forgotten how to run my own damn show. This is why I hate taking time off, because the minute I take time off, I forget how to operate this damn show. Please hold. Hopefully, it don't.
Okay, divas.
We're talking about
the divas are boomers and like the diva divas.
You're right. There's levels to this. Because when we talk about divas, we talk about Celine, we talk about Whitney.
Yeah.
Okay, so pop girlies.
Yeah.
Ariana Grande.
True.
Millennial.
The only like pop diva who is not a millennial or a Gen X, I would say, is Madonna. She's like the queen of pop. So Madonna is a boomer.
She's a boomer.
Yeah, I think she's 65 years old. Not in a bad way. She's 65.
We love Madonna.
Oh, I do. I love Madonna.
Don't pay anything to fix your roof. New York
They had to go play a damn ad, of course, and what she had to say.
City homeowners can get a free roof while paying.
Constantly, they're obsessed with us.
Yeah, they are.
Jimmy, I'm on the defense all the time. I don't want to be in this war. I didn't ask to be in this war.
But they bring us into it.
Yeah.
They're like, you're
all of your divas are millennials.
Literally, Taylor Swift.
Gaga.
Literally, Ice Spice. Wait, Ice Spice is...
No, Ice Spice is Gen Z.
But guys,
Cardi B.
Okay,
divas.
We're talking about
the divas are boomers and like the diva divas.
You're right. There's levels to this because when we talk about divas, we talk about Celine, we talk about Whitney.
Yeah.
Okay, so pop girlies.
Yeah.
Ariana Grande.
True.
Millennial.
The only like pop diva who is not a millennial or a Gen X, I would say, is Madonna. She's like the queen of pop. So Madonna is a boomer.
She's a boomer.
Yeah, I think she's 65 years old. Not in a bad way. She's 65.
We love Madonna.
Oh, I do. I love Madonna.
I have to really clear up some shit because people came for me on the internet because I said Janet Jackson is the queen of pop. I said Janet Jackson is the queen of pop, and here is why I said Janet is the queen of pop. Britney Spears is doing a Janet impression. And she said it. Janet is her diva.
Yeah.
Sure.
There were no such things as pop divas before Janet. Janet was first. She was famous when Madonna was a kid watching her on television.
Yeah.
And I'm just putting it out there. It's not because someone is better than the other. She was just first. And she is Janet. She invented this shit.
Yeah.
Now, Madonna is the pop icon.
Yes.
And I love Madonna.
Yeah.
And we can't refute her influence and what she's done for pop music and for all of the divas. She's birthed a generation.
And we refuse her to
and I felt like I was fighting for my life because people was just dragging me by my ankles.
The titles matter to people, right? So when you say like the queen of pop, Madonna is like the queen of pop. When someone says that some guy is the king of pop, maybe the Michael Jackson crew gonna slide in like, oh, Timona. Don't say that.
What I will say this, but where are the male pop singers though? There aren't any more. Where are
Bruno Mars?
That's it. Before we go into the male pop singers, so Madonna's the queen of pop. What does that make Janet?
What's Janet?
I think Janet is like the pop diva, the original pop diva.
But wait, but how do you? Okay, so Madonna's queen of pop and Janet is just a pop diva.
She's the original pop diva.
But Janet came first.
Okay, but who's Cher?
Cher's the mother of Cher's mother.
Go say something about Cher.
Okay, y'all got the gist. So they're having a debate, and nobody knows what the hell they talking about over there. And you know I love you, Bob Chad, but y'all don't. Now here's the thing. Before I get to what the people in the comments said, but actually let's read what the people said. So people went over and they dragged her by her ankles. Well, guess what it says? We about to drag you by your cankles because we're gonna add a C in front of that K again. So here's what people said. One person said nobody thinks of the Britney Spears as a Janet Jackson impersonator. She literally crafted her own sound and imagery at 16 and became the blueprint for every new pop girl. Worry about your career lasting one summer and your latest tweet not even crossing 100 likes at Lizzo. Damn, the girls is gonna go in. But let's continue to read. Now another person said, now you could be a Britney fan and not be a lying ass bitch because Britney Spears quite literally took everything she has from Janet Jackson, made it a little stiffer and took the soul out of it, added some mayo, and bam, Britney was born. Y'all taught us love to lie, and you love to be full of shit because that's totally inaccurate. You run up in here, some old tired queen talking about she added a little mayo. What you're not going to do is desecrate on Britney's legacy because she was more than just being some white girl who was doing a little stiffness, because you need to watch a lot of her earlier videos to know Britney was far from stiff. And then somebody pointed out Lizzo's face when Bob called Madonna the queen of pop. I'm glad that the video, even when they put that stupid ad in, which I was hoping wasn't going to happen, but it actually did happen, that it rewinded back. Now here's the thing, to the actual full thing, so people got to actually hear what you said, and that's why I intentionally wanted to show that to y'all, because I wanted y'all to hear the context. A lot of people go by just something that someone wrote in a little quote, and y'all run with it instead of being like, you know what? Here's what she said, and you get the full context of it. Now, Lizzo, you're just being loud and wrong. And I guess you probably feeling this way because your music is not in the same conversation as a Janet or a Madonna or even a Britney Spears. I mean, you make cute music, but your music is like what they play at the Target. When I'm going up in there against it, well, I don't go to Target now because we boycotting. But for the most part, they play your music in there. And then at times when I'm working at like City Field or if I'm at MSG, we play her music when the people's coming in looking for their seats or whatever the case is, or they walking through the hallways or whatever, trying to find out where they're supposed to be going to sit when they watch the show. But what you're not going to do is sit up here and piss all over her and make it seem like that Britney is a carbon copy of Janet, because she's not. Number one, when you watch the music video for Baby One More Time, I don't see no Janet in any of her choreography. When you look at the video for Toxic and how she moves and stuff up in there, you do not get Janet from that. When you look at Oops, I Did It Again, last time I checked, I do not get Janet from that. When I watch when I hear Give Me More, I do not get Janet. When I hear Slave From You, maybe there might be a little bit of Janet inspiration from that, but for the most part, that is a Britney song. Britney made it her own. So even if she was inspired by Janet, which she said she has, She did not come out and say that I'm a Janet imitator. Like that's basically reducing her to being like the Derek Barry. What Derek Barry is to Britney Spears, which is she's some damn drag queen impersonating a pop diva. And that's not what Britney is. Every artist who comes forth, they look at someone that came before them, take inspiration from them, and make it their own. They all do it, including Janet. So we're not going to sit up here and act like Janet was the inventor of the diva and all the other stuff. And then she had the nerve to fix her mouth to say that Madonna is younger, that was a kid when she was watching Janet. No, she wasn't. Madonna is the same damn age as her brother Michael. What the hell is this bitch talking about? She's 8 years older than Janet Jackson. So for you to sit up in here and say, oh, she was a kid watching, I was like, no. Maybe Janet was busy working on Good Times while Madonna was out here carving out her music career with the Breakfast Club until she went solo. But for the most part, no, she did not come before. Madonna's music career was popping long before Janet's career even took off. And it took 3 albums, which last time I checked, Control was album number 3, wasn't album number 1. That's when when she finally took control over her career is when her music finally popped. So I love Janet. I love Madonna. They're good in their own rights, but for you to sit up here and try to just diminish Britney's career as just being an imitator of Janet Jackson, that's some straight up bullshit. I think what you need to be doing is focusing on how to make your music memorable instead of sitting up here trying to, give a whole thesis in a debate on that. And I was like, First of all, you know what, Bob? I would have really loved for you to have pushed back a little bit, especially and also womanizer. Do y'all get Janet when y'all hear that? When you look and here's another thing. Now, if she and I almost forgot to bring this up. If she is a hardcore like a Janet imitator, where's their duet? Where's Britney's duet with Janet? I'll wait. She got one with Madonna though, but where's her duet with her? So you want to call her imitator, but they don't even have a song together. So, girl, miss me with this BS. You sound dumb as hell, but yeah. So the people's going to, and also when you talk about Madonna and all that stuff, Madonna was inspired by people like Diana Ross, Debbie Harry, Donna Summer, David Bowie. Last time I checked, them 4 people came before there was a Madonna and before there was a Janet. They were divas in their own right. So do they not have a say? Do they not exist? Janet was the first one to do it. So Janet existed before Donna Summer. Janet existed before David Bowie. She existed before Diana Ross. She existed before Dionne Warwick, Aretha Franklin, Karen Carpenter, Tina Turner, Etta James, Billie Holiday, Cher. She existed before all those women? I don't think so. Her career came out in 86. Those people I mentioned were making music long before 1986. So if you're going to come up here and try to do some math, at least know your math. And I don't give a good goddamn you went to, a music school. Clearly you ain't learned shit up in there because you don't know what the hell you're talking about. So Lizzo, you lost your ever-loving mind. There was a whole bunch of people that, there was even more comments. And another thing that was pissing me off too, that people would sit up in here and try to bring up, y'all want to play the race card. Not with me, but they said this with somebody else. Because some person said, I'm sure with somebody that made a comment, I guess a Madonna fan. So somebody responded and said, I'm sure this is just your creepy coded way of being racist. And this person went out, and the person who goes by Madonna Army #1 said, the tired race card again. I didn't say Madonna is more successful than all Black artists. She's just a million times more famous and successful than Janet. Janet's color has nothing to do with her floppery. Look at Beyonce and Rihanna, for instance. And that is true too. It's like, you look at Rihanna, you look at Beyonce, they have careers. It's like ever since Justin Timberlake showed her floppy ass titty at the Super Bowl, her career hasn't been able to recover. And no shade, All For You was like her last good record. She hasn't given us anything remotely new or entertaining. And I keep telling you, I love Janet. First of all, I love me some Janet more so than her brother. A lot of people have been talking about Michael. I was never really that big of a Michael fan. I was more of a Janet fan. And it's because she was giving me like choreography. She was giving me sassiness. And her music was constantly evolving. After a while, that militant shit that Michael was doing, it was starting to bore me. So I couldn't really get into his music in that context. And I really would have wished that Bob, particularly Bob, because Bob worked with Madonna. I would have really liked for him to push back a little bit on what she was saying on his show. But I guess when you don't have the vernacular or the edge or the overall music education, then he probably didn't have the tools or the wherewithal at the time to go back and forth with her and debate her. But if you was on my show, sis, I'd have definitely pushed back. I was like, oh, that sound right. It's like, Madonna is good on her own right now, and Janet is also I'm not going to dismiss the fact that yes, Janet is very influential in the music scene. Her music is definitely influential, so we're not going to dismiss like Janet hasn't influenced a lot of girls like the Sierras and all them other types. So Janet definitely has influenced a lot of girls. However, to sit and try to say that she is the overall diva of the queen of them all, especially when so many people have taken Madonna's blueprint in regards of like visual art, how she navigated the MTV era, her tours consistently selling out worldwide. The fact, all the many hits that she had. Let me see how many, because I know I wrote it down. I took notes, Chell, because I don't want to be coming up here sounding like I don't know what the hell I speak. So, I believe. Where is it? Because I know I put it down. Okay. Madonna had already, by the time Janet Jackson came out in 86, you want to know how many number one songs that Madonna had on the Billboard Hot 100? 12. She had a dozen. So for you to sit and say that she was a little girl watching Janet Jackson, it's like, no. Janet Jackson had an acting career. She was doing Good Times. She was doing, the little variety show thing with, didn't she do the Carol Burnett show? I think she did the Carol Burnett show. I don't know if she prepared on Sonny and Cher, but I believe that they did. She did the Carol Burnett show with the Jackson 5. And she was in, like I said, she did Good Times. She did Fame. She did, she was doing a lot of acting. She wasn't really doing music at the time. So that sounds ridiculous, but I know I wrote down, I had to write down what I said earlier. Like I'm going to read you what I wrote on my website when I was doing this whole article. So yeah, I will say that this is not the first time, because I told y'all earlier that she labeled Janet the queen of pop. This happened back in 2021. She tweeted that Usher was the king of R&B, and then said Michael Jackson's the king of pop, Britney Spears as the princess of pop, Rihanna was the pop princess, and Beyonce the queen of music. So if you're going to do that whole thing with Britney and Rihanna, because it kind of sounds similar to the thing that they said about Janet and Madonna, in a way where they flip the words around or something. So, as I stated, I'm not discounting Janet's impact on the music scene. And yes, Janet was famous before Madonna, via her acting career. But like I said, Madonna also achieved 12 number one singles on the Billboard Hot 100 by the time Janet came out with Control in 86. And this is another thing that's no shade, but y'all know this is called Chris Avalon Unfiltered for a reason. So while Madonna consistently challenges herself on every last one of her world tours, Janet's still rocking the same damn choreography from 30 years ago. Her stage performances, in my opinion, lack evolution, and even her own damn fans have been saying that lately. So I'm not just pulling this out my ass. And as for Britney, I feel like Lizzo is misconstruing her words. You being inspired by somebody, which all artists are, does not mean that you're a carbon copy, because that would have been the thing eons ago. So I just don't like that she just diminished Britney to just being a Janet impersonator. So seeing that Janet was one of your idols, and of course she took from Madonna, and also another thing too, a lot of people, the way Madonna has started doing her stage shows, everybody does their shows like her now. So they wasn't looking at a Janet tour and being like, oh, I want to do that. So let's not go there. Let's not do that or diminish people's careers to that. So I feel like the only thing that Britney and Janet really have in common is like, yeah, y'all do cross paths in the type of genre of music, and the way that, yeah, you have like dancers and y'all get up there and be lip syncing for y'all lives like y'all a bunch of damn drag queens, and y'all wear little headsets on stage while you're doing your little armography and hairography and all that other stuff in your poses. So, but other than that, y'all are vastly different. So I just don't like, first of all, how Lizzo was up there saying that. And to me, or why the hell was Lizzo sitting there giving me like a poor man's Khalees with that damn hair? That's what she was giving me. It's like you sitting up here and talking about somebody at Carbon Copy, you was trying to give me Khalees from the Kaleidoscope era with your hair. I was waiting for her to start screaming, "I hate you so much" right now. With the way she was sitting up there on that panel, on that chair, first and that fur, I don't know what that was, sheet on the shoe, sheet hair on the shoe, and on the coat. It was just, she looked a damn mess. So yeah, I don't feel like I got any more to add to this, but I definitely want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this story? Do you agree with what Lizzo had to say in regards to this whole thing about Janet being the queen of pop and Britney basically being a Janet impersonator, and basically got all upset about Madonna? It's like, I'm not looking at this as a race situation. Maybe, and I do believe that race did have a play in the way they handled the situation regarding the Super Bowl, especially Les Moonves tight ass and that whole situation. And he got what came to him. He got his after he did Janet the way he did her and had her blackball basically, when it wasn't just her that was up there that did the titty grab. And another thing we really need to do in regards to all of this, love on Janet, love on Madonna, love on Britney. Let's not have this infighting with these women. Because at the end of the day, Britney and Janet fans, we got a common enemy, and his name is Justin Timberlake. So that's what we need to focus on. Let's send that energy in his direction. Let's put the roots on him. Let's not be having the women fight. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Or I should say, until you do right by me, everything you think about is going to fail. You know how Miss Seeley told Mr. Let's put that on Justin. So yeah, let me know what you guys think of this in the comments down below.